Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We're on episode 6 of Modao Zushi. There's only 3 episodes left. And I'm not gonna lie, last episode I showed y'all this little post-it note of all my questions. None of them were answered, and there's like 5 more. So, I say that. We did learn about Ning's death, and that was heartbreaking, and it explained a whole lot about WuXian's dynamic with Ning, and it explained why there was the dissension and the separation of Chang and WuXian. That all makes sense now. It set up everything. That part was really good. It also set up the fact that even though you destroyed the Wen clan, technically, it didn't instill peace. It just created a power vacuum, and the Jin clan stepped in and said, okay, we'll take it over. And it's so sad and it's so true to life. It's like, man, WuXian and Chang just wanted to get revenge on their family's death, and it just created a bunch of other problems. But yeah, there's more questions. We saw at the very end of the last episode that something happened while someone has been hiding Ning this entire time and spreading rumors that Ning turned to dust. We get the impression that one of the people is the Jin clan leader, Old Daddy Jin. We get that impression, but we don't know who the other 2 people are. We're led to believe, based on their robes, that one of them is with the Land clan, but we don't know which one. If it's one of the main ones, if it's like Zishan, or if it's like one of the lesser clan members, we don't know. We don't know which Jin clan member it is. I suspect it's Yao, but we don't know. There's just more questions. That little baby Yan, the Wen clan, like, where's he been? Is WuXian looking for him? Like, what's going on? Did he die? That's going to be heartbreaking if we kill a little kid. We just don't have answers to all these questions. And these questions I had here on this post-it still aren't being answered. So, and we have 3 episodes left. So I'm like, show, you're either going to just front load and give us all the answers in the last 3 episodes, which I don't think is going to happen. Or what I think is going to happen is they're going to answer maybe like a handful of these. And then the rest of the questions, they're going to be like, stay tuned for season 3 or read the novel. I'll be like, dang it. But yeah, someone, Maya, commented on Bungo Stray Dogs on an episode. They commented that, oh, I saw whoever was the suspected killer. I saw them a mile away. And I was like, in my reply, I said, oh, well, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I really just assumed they were a nice person. And then come to this show, and it's like, everyone's suspect. Fairy's looking real suspicious. He might be going to attack baby Ling. I don't know. We can't trust anyone in this show. But, oh, you guys, I love this show, and I've had to take a week and a half off to do finals, to do a bunch of other things for work, to do lots of things. And so it's been a week and a half since I've had Modao Zushi, and I can feel it. I can feel the withdrawal. And so I went back and just rewatched episode 5, just to refresh myself, because it's been a good little jaunt. But yeah, I can't believe we're on episode 6, and we only have 6, 7, and 8 for this season. And then obviously there's other things that I want to watch that are going to be Modao Zushi related while we pass the time until season 3 comes out. There's lots of things to do there, but still, I'm not ready for the season to end because it's been so good. And I definitely understand how a lot of people are frustrated that they cut it down from 15 episodes to 8. I get that. But what can we do? So in any case, I've been told that on Patreon that there is an after credit scene for episode 6. There's one for episode 4, which we saw with Zishuan. He was turned out to be a little tsundere. And then now we have the end credit scene here. But the episode's not that much longer, which I'm sad about. That last week's episode was like a minute longer than this. But yeah, but Ning. So they pulled those pins out at the end, and they were Land Clan and Jin Clan. So what does that mean? And does Wangji know? I'm assuming not, because surely Wangji would have said anything. I don't suspect. The only person in this show I don't suspect is Wangji. He's the only one I don't suspect because he loves WuXian too much. Now, if they make it to where Wangji's the one at fault here, I will be floored. It will be the shock of the century, because Wangji is the only one in this show that I'm like, oh, he's fine. He's not our perpetrator. He's trying to save Wuxian's name, not harm it. So yeah, I just find everything all leading up to this part where Wuxian has come back, everything is so coincidental and it almost feels like an act of fate that Wuxian's been brought back, because things seem to be getting worse, kind of like they were when Wuxian, towards the end of his life as Wuxian, the Yiling patriarch. It seems like things are slowly getting back to that vibe, and I feel like it's almost fate that Mo Yu brought him back to, and maybe Mo Yu brought him back to save everybody. I don't know. We haven't found that out yet. But someone else on Patreon commented that this is kind of neat because it gives Wuxian a second chance at life, basically. It's giving him a second chance to relate to his peers and prove that, he is a kind-hearted person. He's not what these rumors say he was. And so I find that interesting. But yeah, guys, I don't know what to expect at this point, because we ended the episode. Chang knows it's Wuxian. Chang knows that Wuxian's in Mo Yu's body. So there's that. Chang knows. Chang took it surprisingly better than I thought he would. He didn't just instantly try to kill Wuxian, which makes me wonder if maybe Chang is more, his hatred is more frustration with Wuxian not being there for him and not being there to be a brother. Maybe that's more along the lines of it, that's where his hatred stems. I don't know, because in the flashback last episode, as a little kid, he was crying and he didn't want Wuxian near him, but then when you see him on the other side of the door, it seemed like he was more just upset that he was alone. And now Chang has had 13 years of angsty alone time, so that's not healthy. I also want to comment that in the last episode, I can't remember if I brought it up, but I just want to do like a Frozen reference when Wuxian's on one side of the door and Chang's on the other, and he's like, would you like to build a snowman? Like, just, it had those vibes. So, all right, guys, I've talked for 7 minutes. We need to jump into this episode, but without further ado, we are going to start episode 6 of Mo Dao Zushi and see if any of these questions get answered. Probably not. But we shall see here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay, well, there's that. That piece of happiness before the inevitable awful that was this episode's ending. Okay. I thought for some reason that Zishuan and Yanli died together. That's what I thought. I thought that there was like a fight breakout and there's a big battle and Zishan and Yanli die together. That's what I thought was going to happen. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And the worst part about all of this is that Zishuan wasn't even going to fight Wuxian. He wasn't trying to. He was trying to calm him down because he's like, hey, you're being affected by this. You need to stop. You're not in control. Which goes back to what Wangji told him. He's like, are you sure you got this under control? Because I don't think you do. And he didn't. But there's some interesting variables here that have been going on. First of all, little baby Yuan. This adorable little Win kid that, was born into this awful life. And you can't help but feel, I get both Wangji's side of things and Wuxian's side of things, because from Wuxian's perspective, he's like King and Ning and the remaining Wins that are innocent, like they have nowhere to go. Like they're basically just this banished little sect who have been enslaved, who have been like pushed to the brink, and they literally are just hanging out in the wastelands, in the burial mound, in the burial grounds, because they have nowhere else to go, and in these little makeshift tents. And they're making it work because they have to survive. And Wuxian's like, these people, I want to help them because they need to be helped. Like Wuxian, the honorable deeds aspect, where he's like, I want to help these people because no one else is helping them. And I feel obligated and I want to be there for them. And it's kind of like going back to like Fang Mian, Chang's father took Wuxian in when he was being thrown to the dogs, literally. Like, he took him in and saved him, and that's kind of passed on to Wuxian. He's like, well, now I want to help other people and save them, and these people need me, and so I can do good, see? Like, and so you see it from that perspective, and then you see what Wangji's saying. He's like, yeah, you're helping in a way, but the way that you're helping, like, is this long term? Is this sustainable? Is this makeshift, place you've set up going to be sustainable in the long run? And Wangji doesn't think it is. And in the background of all this, you have Ning, who, on the one hand, cool. I'm glad that Ning has consciousness and that Ning can regain his own, conscience. That's interesting. I still get like and some people have brought it up too, in the comments with previous episodes. I get that Full Metal Alchemist, that bad vibe of when you bring people back to life, it doesn't always end well, and there's just like a creepy, like, you're playing God, you're tempting fate sort of thing. And with Ning, on the one hand, I love that we have our cinnamon roll. We have a little zombie cinnamon roll. Cool. But on the other hand, when he gets out of control and is not himself, like, he nearly hurt his sister, and then he literally killed Zixuan. So it's like, We'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about the ending scene because there's some weird stuff going on with that's adding to my questions. So we'll get back to that. But yeah, God, Wangji could not be more obvious. He's like, Wuxin. Like his soft eyes, I cannot deal with Wangji with his soft expression, his concern for Wuxin. And then finally, 14 years later, they get to have that meal together. With little baby Yuan, or baby Yuan. I guess it wasn't 14 years later. This was still in the past, where they finally got to have that meal together. Him and the kids and everything. Him and the little kid. So I'm wondering what happened to little Yuan. That was 14 years ago. So either he's he's a teenager, or he died. I don't know. I don't get good vibes from that whole setup at the camp. It just doesn't feel good. It just feels like it's a liability. It's something bad's gonna happen. Everyone there is too vulnerable, with the exception of Wuxin and Ning and maybe King. Everyone else is too vulnerable, and I feel like somebody could just raid the place. And now that Zixuan has died, I feel like Chang and the Jin clan are gonna raid the place, and they're gonna try to get revenge and of course everyone that's there of the Jin clan watching is going to say Wuxin killed Zixuan. Wuxin killed him. Or they're going to say that Ning killed him and Wuxin made Ning kill him. And so I can easily see how this whole thing is being twisted to be against Wuxin. And the sad thing is, Wuxin didn't really kill anyone, except maybe some of the Jin clan leaders died in that battle. But he lost control. And he lost control of that demonic power, and it ended up hurting someone, and Zixuan was just trying to help. And it's like, the one time he tries to do something good for Wuxin, and it just So there's that. I don't like that Wuxin's having all these hallucinations and these flashbacks. I don't like that this curse has spread so rapidly through his body, because that makes me really worried about Mo Jianyu. I'm like, dude, Wangji needs to show up. And it was such a tease. I got so excited because the doors opened and you saw Wangji's robes, and I was like, oh, cool, he's showing up. And then it was a flashback. I was like, oh, I don't think Ning can take the curse off. I don't think Ning can absorb the curse. I don't think that's possible. Maybe it is. I don't think it is, though. I don't think he has that power. But I just want Wangji to show up and save him. I'm like, and Wangji's way far away, so I'm like, I don't know what'll happen. Will Chang save him? That would be really interesting if Chang saved him, because then they'd have to have that conversation based on what we've seen with Zixuan so far. And when Wangji told him about the wedding, and Wuxin was like, oh, my sis, lady, Yanli, and so he had to kind of like rephrase it since he's been banished, But that after credit scene where she's so pretty in the wedding dress and she looks so happy, she's so beautiful there. That's why in the OP I didn't recognize her, because she's always had her hair in that certain style, and she's had like a softer, more rounder appearance, and here she looked more mature. So, and I love that Wuxin picks the courtesy name for little baby Ling. And like an orchid. And then I love that Chang's like, it has Lan in it. You just picked it because it's Wangji's clan. And it's like, yes. Chang knows what's up. But okay, so this amulet, I wanted to go back because they were explaining the properties of this amulet, and I'm sorry, with Wangji looks so lost with Wan, like he doesn't know how to handle a baby. I cannot. Okay, so they go back in the cave to see Ning, and they're trying to put talismans on him to keep him under control. And Wuxian is convinced that he can help Ning regain his consciousness, and it works in the end. I said the reaction. He kind of looks like Killua's brother from Hunter x Hunter, the one with the big eyes. That's kind of creepy. He's always with Hisoka. Like he just kind of looked like that the whole time. But so this tiger amulet is a problem. I can see why Wuxian destroyed it now because it is an extremely powerful object and it's creating these arrays, which we've established that the arrays are still a thing going on in the present. And he says the amulet feeds on resentful energy, that it feeds on it and kind of, I'm assuming, amplifies it, which would explain why Wuxian lost control because all this negative emotions, it was right there with him and it just kept growing and growing and just. But we need to go back to that scene because stuff was happening and I feel like it was a trap. But they do get the thing subdued, and Wuxian says only my blood can destroy the talismans on the tiger amulet. So the restriction seals keep everything safe. But he took the amulet with him when they met up with the clan leaders. Or when he was going to see Yanli. This all feels like a trap because it feels like a trap that Zishuan invited him over to see like the wedding and everything. Oh my god, and the line, since he invited me, I won't speak ill of him for a year. Well, if he died now and Wuxian dies a year later, yeah, nice foreshadowing show. But okay, so the uncle has been cursed at this point, has the ulcerous curse on him. But Wuxian clearly didn't put it on him. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I don't know how you got that curse, but not my problem. So back when the uncle originally, when Wuxian threw him away, Yao caught him. So I'm like, did Yao put the curse on him in that moment? And the time frame just works out to where he would think it was Wuxian? Is that the case? Because I could see that Yao is the one that did it. That's my theory right now. I think Yao cursed him back when Wuxian threw him away, and he's making the timeline match up for it. But here's the thing. So Wuxian isn't going to fight anybody. Like he says, and the uncle says, we've cleared the road. There's no corpses left here, so there isn't anything to revive. And Wuxian's like, oh, well, I got Ning right here. And he doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't kill anyone. He just injures them so where they can't move. But he notices something, like there's some resentful energy coming from the ground or from below in the pit. Like there's resentful energy coming from up in there. And we've established that the amulet feeds off of that. And that's what makes everything go out of control. So I'm like, who set this up? Someone set up all this resentful energy to come in and be attracted to the amulet. And we know that Daddy Jin wants that amulet. So obviously, I'm assuming Daddy Jin knows how it works. So this all feels like a trap. It all feels like a trap that Daddy Jin set this up and Yao's in on it. And I don't think the uncle knew exactly what was going on, but I think the uncle meant to trap him as well. And then Zishuan found out and was like, I've got to stop all this. This is ridiculous. We need to get this out of here. And so, because even Zishuan was like, I'll take care of you later. He's like, you were being stupid, so I'm going to deal with it later. But he doesn't understand what's going on. And he tries to help him. And then, oh God, we found out the words that he said. So I can mark off that question. What were his last words? It was Ning that killed him while he was in the feral state. And yeah, Ali is still waiting for you. Oh my gosh. And the face that Wuxin makes is very similar to the face he makes with Yanli, only there's not like her hand on him. And he has the amulet in his hand like he's going to destroy it, but we know that he doesn't yet. He should have just destroyed it then and there, but I'm assuming he did not. Oh gosh. You guys. So we can mark off that question. What were his last words? We know who killed Zixuan now. So that's one question out of like 12. And we have 2 episodes left. No big deal. I feel like, and I don't know yet, but I feel like season 3 is going to be finishing this whole present time story or moving on with it, and that this season is trying to conclude up to when Wuxin died, but maybe not. Maybe it's just maybe we're just slowly building the flashbacks up more and more. Oh guys. It's a lot to think about. And now, and even Ning isn't quite privy to what all has been going on. Like, he doesn't know who's been keeping him secret, or it seems like, yeah, he was turned loose on purpose. I'm assuming to expose Wuxin coming back as Mojang Yu, but I don't know. There's so many forces at work under the surface here. Yao is still suspicious to me. Hui Sang is still suspicious. I don't feel as suspicious about Chang or Zixuan, but I don't know. And I'm like, is King alive or did she die too? Ugh. So the Yiling territory, I'm looking at this post-credit scene one more time. The Yiling territory, she shows up like in his hometown, basically, in her wedding outfit. And he's like, oh, you're beautiful. And I love that Chang says, oh, my brother, Wuxin and I can say it all we like, but you want to hear it from Zixuan. It's like, oh. He's like, am I right? And then, yeah, choose a courtesy name for your nephew. Should start with Ru. Rulon, like a little orchid. And I like that they're just arguing at the end there. And I like that Wuxin says the Lan clan is the noblest among people, so it's good. Oh, guys. I don't get good vibes for the next 2 episodes at all. At all. Because like I said, this was just this poor, unfortunate circumstance that seems like it was a setup, that seems like it was a trap. It's only going to get worse from here, isn't it? Because now if Zixuan's dead, then Chang is going to get pissed off because that's Yanli's husband and that's Ling's dad, and the whole Jin clan is going to think Wuxin and Ning are like the worst things ever, and it's all going downhill, isn't it? And Wangji's like, you said you had this under control. And he did not. So that ties us to the present, because Wuxin seems like he has things more under control in terms of the demonic cultivation, but his body, Mojang Yu's body, is giving out from the poison. So, from the curse. So I'm like, who's going to save Wuxin? Because he ain't dying. We know that Wuxin's not dying because there's a season 3. It's kind of a spoiler, but we know that Wuxin's still living. So how... Yeah. I'm just going to stop asking questions. I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. This episode was really good, but this show, it's answering like one question an episode and adding like 5 more. So I don't know how they're going to do it in season 3. I really don't. But I am excited for episode 7 next week. That's going to be interesting. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll be back next week with episode 7 of season 2 of Mo Zushi. Bye.